bomb scare, because once you have created such a scare, to blow up the aircraft in any airspace is not an issue if it's an actual threat. So why come around circling around Delhi and seek the landing permissions there is question A. Question B, why was the flight not on its original path and going towards China through the shortest route, which is the designated air path? And C, why has it acted in a way to refuse landing in Jaipur, for instance? I think that is what I learned from my sources, that kind of a thing was accorded to that aircraft, and the pilot decided to go towards China again. Now, when you see all this stitched together, if it's actually a bomb threat, if it manifests, is something which will happen. But I don't think so that's the case in this one. So once it lands at the Chinese, the soil will come to know more details. But what worries me is that such activities are high level threats, which probably the enemies, and when I say enemies, it includes the flight path coming through Pakistan and going into China. These are adversaries and enemies of India. If they are playing some kind of a ploy to gauge our response mechanisms, or to gauge our response when such threats can be shown, or it was some kind of a deal for Indians to deny landing, quoting the air path which actually went through the POK region, and thereby trying to get some kind of a little whiff into that Kashmir alignment as well. So I'm not too sure how people react geopolitically, but militarily, I think a very good response from the Indian Air Force to be airborne in that shortest possible time, compared to the Balakot incident when we struck them very hard. You can see how well prepared our Indian Air Force is, how the response has been. That gives a lot of heart. But we have to be wary of this particular incident, and India must ask for a proper inquiry and have its own team gauge what comes in the inquiry to draw our lessons for these altered flight paths by foreign airlines into the Indian territory and airspace.
Yeah. Let me go across to Abhishek as well, joining us on the phone line. Abhishek is picking up some details about a possible statement likely from the Indian Air Force. Abhishek, are we expecting some statement soon?
Well, absolutely, Niranjan. So a statement has to come. There was absolutely an element of security situation there. Our own fighter aircrafts were scrambled, and the IAF is likely to give a statement on that. But essentially, what's emerging as of now is that there was some communication between the pilot and the host country, and which led to the pilot panicking and approaching calling the nearest air traffic control, and which was Jaipur, and then he contacted Delhi, and then the security situation emerged. In fact, what we are being told is that entire security drill, including emergency landing, bomb hoax, this, that, whatever, was put in place to make sure that there is no security fallout insofar as India is concerned. But subsequently, sources tell us that the pilot, on his own volition, decided to move on and then subsequently left Indian airspace. He apparently communicated that he has had a communication with his home country and that everything seems to be normal. But that, of course, needs to be investigated. The security agencies are on the job. And in fact, diplomatically also, I think it would be, raised with the Iranians or, queries asked of them. So I think it was a bit of a scare early morning, but as of now, it seems resolved given the fact that the pilot decided to move on and is on onward journey towards the final destination, which was China.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of a good news, but we still don't have full clarity. Abhishek, thank you for joining us with those inputs. So Abhishek, putting the story in perspective, I think we have more answers. Wing Commander Bakshi was putting his hand up there. Wing Commander, seems like we have a little more clarity now. There was a sense of panic, we are told, but the pilot decided to move onwards with the journey. He perhaps had instructions from the home country, in this case Iran. Security drill was put in place, but the pilot decided to move on. He left the Indian airspace on his own volition. It could have been a hoax call, could have been. We don't have full details. Commercial airliner has now resumed its journey. Clearly, it's above the Myanmar airspace now. Wing Commander Bakshi. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, I think I just lost the line there with Wing Commander Bakshi. Colonel Rohit Dev, some clarity coming in now on the emergency this morning.
Yes, so this clarity exists, and thank you for bringing it out for the public as well. And I just want our MEA to get after this very strongly, because going out of your deviated path and coming down from POK, even if the Indian authorities alerted on the bomb scare was hoax, how did this aircraft manage to deviate from the path and be so close to Delhi? That is a question which our security agencies need to ponder about, and I think it's high time that we are a little more aggressive in not letting unfriendly or semi-friendly countries' aircrafts to violate airspaces and reach critical areas of habitation of our country, especially the national capital and such like places. So I think we need to seek some answers, and it will be good that the Indian diplomats in China seek these answers. Maybe if somebody from the defense attaché team goes to site to also inquire, it will not be a bad idea to get to the source of this hoax and also to the source of what the pilot reaction was and how was communication made between him and the Iranian authorities to finally, itself take the call to move on. Because such a bomb scares worldwide, when bomb is actually on board as well, it's a matter of not blowing it up or blowing it up. So why should it come to a habitat like Delhi to make that choice? So I think that is a very important security angle to look at. I'm not saying it's a breach currently, because we were very active, and in fact the Indian authorities gave this message on, whether hoax or otherwise. And today we need answers, and I think we should push the diplomatic pedal to get these answers first. So I will be more keen to understand what really happened here, what was the communication, because all this in the black box, nothing can be altered. We should get to the root of this particular incident. It will give us vital lessons for how breaches happen in the airspace and how our authorities need to be a little more agile and alert to ensure that nothing of this sort, which is supposed to fly way north up in the air, comes down to a city like Delhi in the future.
Thank you for that, Colonel Rohidev. Let me also go across to Abhishek, if he's still on the phone line. Abhishek, are you there? Let me try and get an Abhishek. And Wing Commander Praful Bakshi as well was live with us on the broadcast. There is a little more clarity that we have as of now, Nupur. A little more clarity. Nupur, I'm handing it back to you. The fact is, it may have been a hoax call is what some sources are telling us. And the fact that, we had scrambled jets was also visible. In fact, was seen onward from Jodhpur. One Sukhoi jet was scrambled. From one of the Punjab bases, we saw one jet was scrambled. So two jets were scrambled is what we are told. And Abhishek is live. I'm handing it over to Nupur and Abhishek. Over to you, Nupur.
Right, Niranjan, thank you very much for that. So what we know as of now is that the IAF has released a statement where it spoke about the fact that these jets were scrambled. Abhishek, if I could come to you. Abhishek, what we are given to understand also right now is that at the moment it is being treated as a hoax call, and we are learning that the commercial airliner, Mahan Airline, that's what it's called, it's originated from Tehran and has now continued its onward journey. Can you confirm that for us now?
Well, we are awaiting a statement, Nupur, a comprehensive statement. But what I can tell you through sources is that there was an emergency situation. Insofar as this Mahan Air flight is concerned, it's a commercial airliner which had taken off from Tehran, was on onward journey towards China. And there was some bomb threat call which they received from the host country, from the home country, because of which the pilot contacted Jaipur and then decided that he would rather be in Delhi, perhaps because of some landing issue. Perhaps the aircraft was bigger than he thought could land in Jaipur. And subsequently, I think there was again another communication. By the time we were putting security drill in place, there was another communication between the pilot and the home country, following which he resumed his onward journey. So it seems, of course, this has to be clarified by Indian agencies with their Iranian counterparts, or by the diplomats by the Iranian diplomats in New Delhi, or by the Ministry of External Affairs through Iranian diplomats from Tehran. But there seems that there was a hoax call. And that's why, once it was resolved, the aircraft resumed its onward journey. But in the meantime, all security drills were put in place, both in terms of emergency landing, both in terms of taking care of any bomb situation, and and isolation and so on and so forth. But as of now, it seems everything is sort of has fallen in place, and the aircraft, in fact, has landed Indian airspace, and as we speak, is already in the Chinese airspace. So, to that extent, the security situation or whatever could have come out of it stands resolved. But diplomatic parleys are on, and it is expected that either from the IAF or, in fact, from the Ministry of External Affairs, there might be a statement on the situation that happened in the morning.
Right, absolutely. Abhishek, as you're pointing out, of course, emergency drills that are in place were put into practice. I'm going to go back to, I think, Wing Commander